I'm sorry. How are you, Miss Williams?
Hi.
Gonna be quick tonight.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call our council meeting to order. I ask that you please rise for the invocation, followed by the pledge. God, we thank you for the blessings of this day and every day you bestow upon us. Bless us as a community as we labor to work together to become a better place to live, work, and play for all people. In thy precious name we pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First of all, before we do our new employees, I would like to recognize Mr. Brian Wilson from Wando Woods and the Scouts, Pack 79. Would y'all please stand and let us acknowledge you're here? Thank you for being here and learning about your government.
Use your outdoor voice.
All right. This is the time of the month that we always recognize our new employees and welcome them to the team North Charleston. And so tonight we have 3 new employees from this month. From our police department, Larry Cavallaro and Alexander Wilkinson. Please come forward and stand right up here. And from Public Works, Jared Simmons. There he is. Gentlemen, welcome to the city of North Charleston. We're glad to have you on our team. We hope that it's going to be a great experience for you and the city. These folks, if you turn around and acknowledge these are the council members, we're 5 short tonight. We have 3 that are at a convention, a governmental convention. We have one that's at a friend passed away and he's out of state for the funeral. And the other one is with his father who has some illness issues. But we welcome you aboard. These folks are the ones that help us fund and set a budget so we can give you the services that you need so that you can better serve the citizens of the city of North Charleston. We believe in a team attitude, working together. We can accomplish so much more. So we look forward to many years of your service to our community, and we hope you enjoy your stay with the city of North Charleston. God bless you. Thank you. Madam Clerk, while I'm itching my way back up, would you please go ahead with the minutes?
You bet. Sure. Item 1 is a request to approve the minutes from the October 25th, 2018 City Council meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Scouts, we will get that picture with you shortly, okay?
Item 2 is the first reading and a public hearing for an ordinance amending sections 18-3 and 18-247 of the North Charleston Code of Ordinances subdivision regulations regarding public hearing requirements and exempt plats.
Did you want a summary before the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. This proposed ordinance is to amend 2 sections of the subdivision regulations. The first section is section 18-3, which talks about holding public hearings for amendments and that we need to advertise in the paper 30 days per state requirement. So it would be amending section 18.3 on that, and section 18.24 is regarding exempt plats. Currently, easement plats that involve dedication of an easement for the city go to the Planning Commission. This would be removing that requirement, so all exempt plats would be exempt.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this issue, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us your remarks. Anyone wishing to speak on this issue? Hearing none, we'll move it to committee to come back for a second reading.
Item 3 is the first reading of an ordinance to rezone the properties addressed as 2701 Azalea Drive, 2519 and 2453 King Street Extension, Charleston County, TMS 46607, lots 2, 3, and 6, from M1 Light Industrial to M2 Heavy Industrial in Council District 10.
I believe, if I'm candid, can we hold off this to see if it's withdrawn? We're going to hold off on that one. We believe it's going to be withdrawn.
So no report, on to the next.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 4 is the first reading of an ordinance rezoning the property addressed as 3557 Dorchester Road, Charleston County, TMS 469-05238, from B2 General Business to B3 Commercial, Recreation, and Highway-Oriented Uses, and a concurrent amendment to the Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map designation for the same parcel, changing it from major business retail to highway-oriented use in Council District 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have a proposed rezoning at 3557 Dorchester Road. The existing zoning is B2 General Business, and the proposal is for B3 Commercial, Recreation, and Highway-Oriented Uses, and this is in Council District 10. There you have an aerial of the property located along Dorchester Road near the Kent Avenue intersection, and a zoomed out view of the neighborhood with the parcel fronting along Dorchester Road there in the blue. The proposed rezoning is a request to rezone the property from B2 General Business, shown in red there on the map, to B3 Commercial, Recreation, and Highway-Oriented Uses. And the rezoning request would require a map amendment from B2 General Business, again shown in the red, to B3 Commercial, Recreation. And the subject parcel is located at the Kent Street entrance to the Dorchester Terrace neighborhood on the Dorchester Road near its intersection with I-26. Property is completely developed with a 2-story club-like building and an associated parking lot. The applicant is applying for a rezoning from B2 to B3, which allows for potential uses of nightclubs, dog kennels, auto-oriented uses, and open storage in addition to the B2 uses currently there. The B3 zoning ordinance states that the uses allowed in B3 may not be compatible with 1,000 feet of residential development. There are adjacent parcels with B2 zoning, but currently there is no adjacent B3 zone property, and in fact the closest B3 zoning is nearly a mile to the west down Dorchester Road. Comprehensive Plan's future land use map recommends major business retail for the site, and again would need an amendment to highway-oriented use. Given the lack of support from the comprehensive plan and no adjacent B3 zoning, staff has recommended denial.
Any questions by council?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to make note that Planning Commission is meeting on the 14th, and then we'll pick it up again on the 15th for committee meeting.
And 4. And this will be referred to the Public Safety Committee, which meets this
15th.
Thursday, the 15th at 5 o'clock. Thank you.
Item 5 is the first reading of an ordinance rezoning the property addressed as 2244 and 2246 Fillmore Street, Charleston County, TMS 469-14, lots 305 and 306, from R1 single-family residential to R2 multifamily residential, and a concurrent amendment to the Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map designation for those same parcels, changing them from single-family traditional to multifamily residential, also in Council District 10.
Okay, as we've just heard, we have a rezoning request at 2244 and 2246 Fillmore Street. The request is to rezone the property from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Multifamily Residential, and that is in District 10.
Oh, here I go.
Here we have an aerial view of the property along Fillmore Street's 2 parcels. And then you have a zoomed out view, and you can see the parcels at the end of the block on Fillmore Street near its intersection with S.E. Simmons Drive. And the proposed rezoning request is to rezone the properties from R1 Single Family Residential, represented in light yellow there on the map, to R2 Multifamily Residential. And this would require a map amendment to the future land use map in the comprehensive plan, changing the designation from single family traditional to multifamily residential. Subject parcels are located in the Accoby neighborhood on Fillmore Street near its intersection with St. Simmons Drive. There are single-family homes on all of the adjacent lots and across Fillmore Street, and single-family homes are the dominant housing type throughout the Accoby neighborhood. The applicant's applying for a rezoning from R1 to R2, which would allow renovation of the existing single-family building to a multi-unit structure or redevelopment of the site with a new multifamily building. Comprehensive Plan's future land use map establishes a future land use single-family traditional, so an amendment would be required. Given the lack of support from the comprehensive plan and adjacent R2 zoning, staff has recommended denial, and this will also go to the Planning Commission next week for a recommendation.
Okay, so any questions by council? Hearing none, this is referred to the public safety meeting that next Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Item 6 is a request to approve the change of meeting dates for December 2018 City Council and committee meetings.
Move for approval.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Who's here? Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
We have a need to go into executive session, but before we do we have anybody request to speak?
Yes, sir, we do.
Let's get that
We had
over with before we go into executive session, if it's okay.
one request from Anthony Bryant to address council.
In the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, Richmond, Virginia, I come here before you in terms of the Communication Decency Act, which is hateful, defamatory, and unconstitutionally protected speech posted on the internet by any person. Internet providers such as Comcast or any others are exempt from civil liability. Justice Department has no social media component to it. On my social media account, I talk Justice Department's IG report, the Washington Post component, ATF, spent $62 million, $4.9 million on informants, $2.3 million in profits, 20 and 36 training investigations from 2013, 2016. U.S. District Court says it's prosecutorial immunity. I believe the dumping of guns in the black community. It's based on that fact. I said on social media, okay? And concerns of this district court in South Carolina and the combination of the 1895 Constitution, prosecutorial immunity by the federal judge in this state, and the Judge C1, the pro se litigants, which the majority of people who are poor in census tracts have to use this method, whether this method under the Sixth Amendment to get relief from administration procedures and from the state courts. The judge ruled that prosecutorial immunity is standard in the state of South Carolina. So you can actually make error in the system as far as the background check, and that background could be an error. And guess what? The government officials have immunity from that error. That's the finding that I came up with. I did it from March 2018 to now for a reason. For a reason, because I wanted to know for myself So I don't really need the support of anybody. I'm a public official, DOT certified, HUD certified. I don't need the headache. But being an African American in this country, I feel an obligation to be formal about my position. Some gatekeeper coming before meetings, being an agent provocateur with no facts. The federal courts has an obligation to change these things, in particular the Voting Rights Act as well, in terms of the voting rights in this country on the internet, and our images on the internet, and all the things on the internet be constitutionally protected at some point. And it's on the record in the Fourth Circuit, and I have no reason to come back to this council any longer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. All right, the request, could you make a motion
please.
for us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if we could have a motion to go into executive session to discuss a prospective legal matter.
So move.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
We'll
See
go
you in
back
a few.
and come back out afterwards. Normally, there's nothing to announce, but we will be back out to say that and adjourn the meeting. Prior to going back, though, while the council's working its way back, the scouts will come down here. We're going to take your picture so you won't have to wait.